Hi, I do apologise, but I'm not feeling my usual glamorous self. The heating has just been rectified by British Gas, and I just haven't had time to change. Paul's now back from Guernsey, you see. It's time to film, so I haven't had a chance to do my hair. I do apologise. But anyway, I'm Richard.
I'm Paul.
And this is
Sunday Chat! That was quite reserved.
It was quite reserved, and I'm quite glad. Because you've not felt very well, have you, Paul? Got a little bit of a cold. He's not got corona.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, corona's not runny nose.
Oh yeah, I had a runny nose on Friday.
You've not got corona if you've got a runny nose.
No. I had a runny nose on Friday.
The information's there in the public domain, people. Look it up. Wash your hands.
And it was no longer running by Saturday. So it was just a little virus. I think I caught it going backwards and forwards to hospital last week.
With my nasal issue.
Yeah.
If you've not caught up with that issue, go and see the video. I've moved forwards now.
Yes, we're not going to talk about it.
No, it's fine. I'm still a little bit nasal, but that's another story and another video.
It's all about moving forward.
And that video's got its own set of adverts too.
And forward moving. And not talking about nasal
Well, I've
bleeding.
talked about it to the nth bloody degree. I don't need... And I've talked about it enough to satisfy my own therapeutic needs.
Are you satisfied then?
Yes.
Oh, he's satisfied.
God, I've used vlogging as a form of therapy to talk about it. I don't think we need to continue discussing it now, do we? No.
I had a little nosebleed.
Did you?
On Saturday. Yeah,
Did you?
Yesterday. Yeah.
Because you blew your nose too many times.
I think it must have been. But oddly enough, I was sitting on the loo and then I felt, ooh, I need to blow my nose, and I put my thing up and there was a bit of blood.
Oh.
But it wasn't like yours.
Well, no, Paul, because you didn't end up in the emergency room.
No, it wasn't like
Move
The Shining.
forwards.
Yeah.
Move forwards now. So you've been to Guernsey. How was Mum? Because I didn't go.
No, you didn't go.
Because of the...
which we're not talking about. Move forward, move forward.
All right, Paul, don't make a meal of it.
So yeah, Mum was good. Mum, yeah, touch wood, all of that. Mum was good.
Good.
And she does have a default setting when someone asks her, "How are you?" "Oh, I'm not good." But actually, yeah, she's sort of doing. I think it's just set in because that's what it used to be. But she was walking really well. We had Storm Jorge hitting Guernsey on Thursday, I think it was, and Friday.
Well, we had it here as well.
Yeah, but it was a bit earlier because it came up from France. Storm George, as everyone in England will call it, of course. And yeah, so we didn't get out for Mum's usual walks around where she lives. But we did, she had an x-ray and we went to the wrong entrance of the Guernsey hospital, and the entrance that we should have gone to was sort of the furthest point from where we did go in. So she did have quite a good walk that day, all through the hospital. And she had the x-ray. And then she's got a alarm thing, and the next day, so that was Thursday, and then on Friday morning, after the carers had been, or they were there, they were sort of ticking their list, and then they went, "Where's your alarm, Mary?"
She left it at the hospital.
No, but we couldn't. We looked everywhere for it, and we couldn't find it. And then I suddenly thought, oh well, when we did the X-ray, Mum took everything off yesterday to do the X-ray. I bet it's in her walker. In her walker,
right.
And it was in the walker.
Good.
So when we got Mum dressed afterwards, we didn't put the alarm on. So, isn't it fantastic to have that service from the carers where they go through the list and where's your alarm? I know, it's fabulous. So
that's called attention to detail.
Yeah, I mean they are terrific.
You know.
Carers are terrific. and we always have a good chat. And yeah, so thank you to all the carers in Guernsey.
Bloody thank you.
In fact, all of them, whether they look after mum or not. I think there's 40 or 50 of them, and they don't take turns, but they're rotated, you know. So mum gets visited by them regularly.
Well, I think it's an opportunity to say thank you to all good carers.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I say good carers because, frankly, in my job, I've come across a few support workers who are also carers, who could do better. But you know what? It's a challenging job.
It is.
It requires a lot of patience.
It does.
Patience that a lot of people don't have. But I don't think, you know, if you've not got that patience, you shouldn't be going into that role. But of course, many people fall into the role without being asked.
Yeah, it becomes a default situation.
Family members that suddenly require care.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so challenging that some people don't cope with it. And some people don't seek support with it.
Yeah.
And end up in an abusive situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a fine line sometimes, and buttons can get pressed when you're caring for somebody.
Yeah.
Because they're very demanding.
Even the... It is easier with mum when you're there.
Yeah.
Because we sort of share things. So Richard very often does the evening meal, and I'll do the lunch, and
we both chat.
Yeah, we both chat. Where it was sort of more challenging this time, simply because you're doing everything. So
and I think also we're in a routine.
Yeah.
Where we go over together. And we do certain things together. We have our sort of responsibilities that we carry through. And you were on your own this time.
Yeah.
And you've not been in that situation for a while.
Yeah, quite a while.
So, you know, it was a challenge, yeah.
But it was the weather was not ideal.
So you were a bit hemmed in.
We didn't get out as much. And also because there was, mum did a breathing test where you have to... thing, and then we did the X-ray. So then we then went back home because mum was sort of quite tired with those two things, because one was one side of the island, and then we had to go to the hospital in the middle of the island ish.
Yeah, because it's such a big island.
But anyway, we then went home after that, and then the next day. There was another medical appointment the next day, so we didn't do our... In fact, mum said this morning, we haven't had our usual drive around the island and stopping, and...
Because I also take photographs.
You take photographs, so that sort of forces us to do that.
Yeah.
So in some ways it was good you weren't there this time, because it may have been a bit too much. Yeah. But we would have most probably got out on our own and done that. Yeah, so, but it was fun. There were so many funny moments.
Just choose one.
It was, we were trying to find certain programmes yesterday, and mum said, it's on 247. So we put it to 247, and that's not the programme. Try 149. So we tried one, that's not the programme. Maybe it's on 364. So we were going through all these. I said, Mum, I think the schedule changes at the weekend, so it's not the same as during the week. Let's try 247 again. Then we've tried that. Let's try it again. So we tried it again. Of course, it was the same programme. We did watch. Both of us dozed through 3 episodes, 3 of the same episodes of Murder, She Wrote at one point. I think we watched it in the morning, and then we both fell asleep. And
you
then
need to sort your nails out. Disgusting.
And then we watched it later
Too long.
on. I'll bite them.
No, don't, Paul.
I bite my nails.
No, that's disgusting.
But my nails are really tough.
Yeah.
How are your nails?
Brittle.
So
Paul, you were allowed one funny incident.
Well, that was it, but yeah.
I didn't get the...
Oh, it was funny. We
punchline.
just kept on looking at the same channels.
Anyway, let's move on, shall we, Paul?
Oh, and I did cut the hydrangeas back because all the hydrangeas had started
Sprouting.
shooting and were getting sort of nice and green. So I cut all those hydrangeas back, so cut the dead heads off, so that was nice. And also with the geraniums, some of those had become a bit wind-burned during the winter, so cut some of those back. So, yeah.
Talking about TV, you know what I've been... Well, you were talking about TV?
Oh yeah, I was talking about cutting hydrangeas back. I'd moved on. I was going forward!
If you do that again, I'll do you forwards, I tell you.
Okay, so going backwards.
Going back to TV.
Going back to TV.
Guess what I've been watching?
Charlie's Angels.
No.
Heart to Heart.
I've been watching it on YouTube. And if you listen carefully, I'm doing the accent. Yeah. It's going right back to the beginning of time.
Manchester.
Northwest England. Long
Coronation
time.
Street.
Yes, I have. I've been watching Coronation Street. Bayek, I have.
Have you?
Yeah, I went right back to 60s. I did. Elsie Tanner.
Oh yeah, she had her hair
Elsie
net,
Tanner.
didn't she?
No, that was Ina Sharples.
Oh no, was Elsie behind? Was she?
Elsie Tanner was Pat Phoenix, Paul Bloody
Oh,
hell.
Pat Phoenix, yeah, of course.
The unforgettable Pat Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I
come
forgot
on.
her. Yeah.
Yes,
Tanner.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Who was the one with the hairnet?
Ina Sharples.
Ina Sharples.
Annie Walker behind the bar.
Annie Walker.
Yeah, absolutely. Rita.
Rita, yeah.
No, Rita's not in it yet.
No.
What's
it will be in it?
Ina Barlow. Is it Ida Barlow? Ken Barlow's in it.
Because he was in it from the beginning.
That's right.
Have you seen Bill Kenwright?
No. He was a bit part, wasn't he?
He was Ina Sharples' son or grandson or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Ina Sharp, are you sure? Anyway.
Elsie Tanner.
The reason...
Elsie,
no,
I think.
that was Dennis. Dennis is Elsie's son. Yeah. Anyway, the reason I wanted to bring it up, it's really fascinating to watch. They're on YouTube, on a YouTube channel, which is probably, you know, copyright and all that. But the fascinating thing about it is that they look like 60s film noir.
Oh yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah, and they're kind of filmed in that way. And you watch films like A Taste of Honey.
Yeah,
and
I talked about that.
You've got the kids singing in the street and those really sharp black and white sort of grim shots of, you know, the slums basically in the northwest of England. And it's quite incredible because it has this real sort of edgy feel to it, which is complete contrast to what it's got now. And it's so of the time, you know, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, nowadays people are in sex left, right and centre and, you know...
What, in Coronation Street?
God knows what, all these young ones, you know. But actually, that's a reflection of what is happening in society now.
Well, yeah.
You know.
That's what soap operas are, isn't it?
But the 60s was a time of change as well, you know, social change, change for women, women's rights, you know, all of that. And it's kind of really reflected in these programmes. So, especially in characters like Elsie Tanner, who is kind of fighting for her rights as a 30-something woman who is considered over the hill by that time, who still feels glamorous and sexy and wants to look at younger men, you know. So there's all these really interesting issues. So I was bored and came across one of them and thought, let me have a look at these because I've never seen them. I was born in '67, but it also reminds me a little bit of my childhood because there were elements of that in my childhood. There were elements, strong elements of the 60s still coming through. The 70s had lots of leftovers from the older days.
Absolutely.
The trains still had compartments and, you know, lots of wood.
And for years.
Yeah.
Into the 80s.
Yeah, with big bouncy seats.
Yeah, they were like the...
Yeah.
We used to call them buffet seats or something for some reason.
And even Manchester, there were lots of areas that were still really run down and undeveloped. You know, I can remember. I mean, lots of development as well. There were certain parts with lots of high-rise buildings and stuff, but a lot of parts with what would be called slums. I mean, even London as well. When we came to London in the mid-80s, there was still a lot of old areas, really old areas, but actually a lot of that has gone now.
Well, I mean, yeah.
A lot has.
There's
a few pockets that remain. I mean, areas like we live in, this is Victorian, so, but it's quite well kept.
Yeah.
And it's quite well looked after as an area. It's not run down. So it's just fascinating. It's like a time capsule, and it gives you that true...
Are you back on Coronation Street?
The viewers are keeping up with me, Paul. I'm sure you can. But you've cut right into my story now and put me off track.
It's a time capsule.
Yes, and these things are, and I think they're really fascinating to watch and study, especially for younger people, because the world we live in now is so different to then.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes to what I was talking about with somebody on our Facebook group, Planet Vegetaria. Our heating went on the blink, and I was talking, I think in my vlog, about when I was a child, we lived in a new house with no central heating in the northwest, which meant it got extremely cold and you'd have condensation. And in the morning, the windowsill inside would freeze to a sheet of ice that you could literally lift up, you know?
Yeah, we didn't have that.
I mean, crazy. It's such a different time. And heating, you know, it's a luxury, isn't it? I mean, people grew up in the 60s with no bathrooms.
Yeah, yeah.
Outside toilets.
My aunt and my gran and granddad, I don't remember. They must have had an inside toilet, but in fact I don't think they did. That's when Dad was born. I don't think they did.
Anyway, so, you know, I think it's fascinating looking at the archive of things that we've got on YouTube. Oh, it's gone a bit dim, the sun's gone in. Looking at the archive of things that we've got on YouTube that are available to us, it's absolutely amazing. I also shared a bit of footage that was on YouTube from 1911.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at that yet.
New York in 1911, and footage that had been restored, and that was just breathtaking. So I think it's so good that we've got this at our fingertips.
But the interesting thing is, I think we touched on this before, is even when we watch relatively modern, well, not modern, but like things like Pie in the Sky. When we watch Pie in the Sky, we watched the whole few series a couple of months ago. There's so many bits in there where they're talking about the environment and talking about the public losing rights over land and things like that. And I think all of those are really a social picture on that route that we've travelled. I mean, obviously they are, because they are part of the society that we lived in at the time. And I suppose if
Which
you
was
look
nearly
at,
30 years ago.
Yeah. If you look at things like, what's the EastEnders, that came, when was that? Was that the 70s?
No, EastEnders was the mid-80s.
Mid-80s.
1985, I think it started. Something like that.
I mean, it's...
When it was good.
It is incredible. Well, I mean, we don't watch it now, so we don't know if it is good.
I can't understand what they're saying half the time. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh dear.
Really?
Oh, there were two people on the
shouting.
plane talking like that.
People just shouting at each other on EastEnders, that's all it is. And Coronation Street to a certain degree now. Mind you, it was back in the 60s as well. There's lots of arguments going on.
I'm sure there were.
Anyway.
Did they have lock-ins?
Well, they've just got done for a lock-in, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember lock-ins where you'd get locked? I mean, not as children.
We're talking about pubs.
Yeah,
for
pubs.
those of you who don't know what
where they closed the doors to the
Yeah.
public, but then people stayed on and
You're
carried
not
on buying
supposed-
drinks. and
Yeah,
things.
which you're not supposed to do.
No. Licensing hours and all of that.
Well, I say they've just had a... Have they had... I watched an episode where they got raided. Yeah.
And of course, in the 90s, the licensing hours changed completely, didn't they? In London now, we have 24-hour
Yeah.
licensing.
Well, you know, it was bound to happen, wasn't it? Anyway, let's move on to the next subject. I just wanted to touch on that one because I thought it was fascinating.
I think Dad and I used to watch Coronation Street. Yeah, we did.
If you're going to be saying something, say something of value, Paul.
I think Dad and I used to watch Coronation Street.
Right. Okay, you don't need to sit there nodding into the air because people don't want to watch that, Paul. We need value in your words. Value.
I was just thinking, it was bringing me back. We used to have a sort of red buttoned bar in the corner.
Oh.
And Dad would have a sort of whiskey. In fact, he would have a brandy then. He would have a brandy. That was before he had his angina. And he would have a brandy
Well, it didn't
and a
stop
cigar.
It didn't stop
And
him
a
after the
cigar.
angina.
No,
did
but he
it?
moved to whiskey afterwards. He moved to whiskey because it was medicinal. He
Well,
was
it's,
told to stop having brandy.
It certainly was medicinal. Well, what's the difference?
I don't
What's the
know.
difference?
I don't know.
Same alcohol content, isn't it? Surely
I'm
it's
sure.
a spirit.
I'm sure. But again, things have all changed, haven't they?
Shall we move on? Because we've got a couple more things to cover and we don't really want this to be too long, do we, Paul?
No longer than an hour, definitely. No longer than an hour.
We were given...
There's a lovely fluffy can up there.
Anything
Sorry.
else, Paul?
No, but it is lovely. It
You're
looks a bit
boondoggling
like,
now.
It looks a bit like Jersey.
You're boondoggling now, Paul.
Right.
Let's move on to the lovely, lovely gift that we were given.
Yes! Yes!
We were given an amazing gift by Dave and Courtney. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And it was an Instant Pot pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Amazing. We haven't had pressure cooker since... Well, I haven't used a pressure cooker since the 80s. Yeah. Because we haven't had a pressure cooker.
No, we haven't.
never had one.
I'm wondering whether it'd be even 70s for me.
And my
No,
mum
it's
had a
not
pressure
80s.
cooker. And my grandma had a pressure cooker. And, you know, we used to use them to do the vegetables for the Sunday roast. And that's the only thing it was used for.
Oh, Mum used it for everything.
No, it was the only thing it was used for in our house. And it was one of those, you know, ones with the big heavy base, the big heavy handle that's slotted together.
They did, they went...
Yeah,
didn't they?
and sealed, and then with a big weight on top. And you used to have to, you know, time it.
And they would come up to pressure, wouldn't they?
They'd come up to pressure, then you'd time the cooking, and then once that happened, you took it off the heat and you released the pressure gradually with this metal weight by rocking it to one side.
We
And
used
then
to
you
put
ran
it under
then you
cold
ran
water.
Yeah, you ran it under cold water. Yeah, you did. You ran the whole thing under cold water.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you reduced the pressure.
Yeah.
And then once the pressure had gone, you'd open it up. And I can remember the stories that people used to tell. Oh no, I wouldn't ever have a pressure cooker. My Auntie Mabel had one. She splattered her kitchen ceiling with liquidized mashed potato, which people did because they didn't know how to use them.
We did have an accident.
Same with microwaves. People used to say, oh, if a microwave leaks, it'll cook your insides from the inside out, which of course is rubbish. So, you know, there was all these scare stories. So
Mum did have a stew on the ceiling one day.
It splattered.
Yeah. And there was a sort of, it was like spray painted sort of red.
That's releasing the pressure too quickly.
Yeah, I think it just did. I think it might have just gone, and it did, because it was on the cooker. It was on the hob when it happened. But Mum used to use it for, I mean, loads of things. Cooking. She used to do a whole chicken and gammon with all the vegetables in there as well.
Yeah.
And all her Christmas pudding, she used to do those in there. And it had a little sort of trivet thing in the bottom. And then they had the 3 sections of veg, and then there was another thing that sat on top, and that's where you could put your...
I think yours was a little bit more sophisticated than ours was.
I think it was because Mum had guests, because I think it was a sort of... I think they had it when we still had guests and still had the bed and breakfast, and I think it was a hangover from that Mum had.
Well,
but they were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, my mum wasn't particularly an adventurous cook at all, so it was just on to do the vegetables, and but it did them super quick. I mean, I think it was 15 minutes for a huge amount of veg. So anyway, back to the gift.
Yes.
From
Dave and Courtney.
So I took it for a whiz yesterday, and I made a sort of soupy stew. And actually I was really, really delighted with the results. I think I probably overcooked them ever so slightly, but with a stew it doesn't really matter.
Were the chickpeas canned, or were they...
They were canned,
oh,
yeah.
Right, okay.
But I basically put a stack load of vegetables in there, set it for pressure cooking for 20 minutes. And I think the great thing about it is the fact that there's no noise. There's no cooking smells, ever so slightly maybe, and there's just no indication that anything's happening other than the timer. So it's kind of, it's quite fun to use, very simple to use. Releasing the pressure is kind of similar to the old days.
You don't hold it under the tap?
No, you don't, but you just release the pressure bit by bit. And you're careful for splattering, and that was fine. I have no fear of doing that because I've done it on old pressure cookers in the past.
I want to do a chili.
And the thing that really struck me was the amazing moisture content that obviously comes from the veg, because you don't have to use that much moisture, that much water.
I suppose the steam doesn't escape.
No, it's pressure. It's all pressure. Plus, there is no kind of boiling action takes place. It's not boiling. It's not rolling.
Because it's under pressure.
Yeah.
It's under pressure, so it won't.
So
no, of course it won't.
I put my ingredients in bit by bit, and they kind of stayed in those layers.
Right.
So I had to give it a good stir. But the flavour. Wow. I mean, I've made a stew with the same ingredients and the same flavourings, and I've had to adjust flavours and add a little bit of salt or whatever. The flavours were just superb, really superb. So I can see this being a really strong addition to our culinary arsenal, so to speak.
Well, it was a lovely surprise.
Yeah.
We'd actually...
Well, you opened, you looked at the box and said, we haven't ordered anything.
No, well, this
isn't
ours.
This
big box came, and we normally get our loo rolls from Amazon on a quarterly basis, and because they're recycled, and the outside, the packaging is all recyclable and things like that, so we get them like that. And I thought, it's not time for toilet rolls, so I brought the box in, opened it up, looked inside, and it wasn't what I expected. And I said to Richard, the Amazon man's delivered to the wrong house. This isn't ours.
This isn't ours.
And I was just going to go to the door and see if the guy was still there. when I suddenly thought of a conversation we'd had with Dave and Courtney the day before on Planet Vegetaria, because I'd said that I'd been thinking for a couple of years about trying an Instant Pot, but never got round to it. And quite a few of the people that I sort of follow on social media cook with them, and Courtney and Dave do as well. And we were sort of talking about it, and then I looked at the label, and it was addressed to Richard and Paul. And yeah.
Well, there was a gift card in there.
And there was a gift card
gift message
as well.
in there.
Yeah, in the box. But it was only when I looked at the label I thought, oh, it is for us.
Yeah. So
it's very exciting.
Absolutely delightful. And yeah, like I say, I think it's going to be something that we are definitely going to use.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing it.
And the other thing to mention as well is that I cooked that stew with 0 fat. I didn't do any sautéing. I didn't fry off the onion, which you can do in the Instant Pot. You can sauté before.
What, in it?
Yeah, you can
right.
sauté before you do pressure cooking.
It's a slow cooker as well.
And it's a slow cooker, and it's a steamer. And it's got a little trivet. You have to use, if you're steaming stuff, they recommend using an inner bowl.
Right, okay.
On the trivet. A stainless steel bowl inside.
I'd love to do a vegetarian vegetable steamed pudding.
Would you? Why?
Because I used to love steamed pudding.
Well, like a steak and kidney pudding?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should develop a soy
recipe. Yeah.
Recipe with maybe mushrooms and soya chunks.
I'm wondering.
But it would have to be rich.
That chicken, that chicken curry that you used to do, the white one,
the korma
white korma. It was from that program.
Whether we could do that with corn fillets.
Whether we try it with corn fillets and we try it with soya.
We did try it with soya.
I know, but I'm wondering if the pressure would put the flavour into the soya.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because that recipe is extremely fiddly in terms of the amount of ingredients that you need to create the flavour. And we tried it years ago with chicken and it was divine.
It was.
And then we tried it without chicken and it kind of didn't have that kick.
No.
So there would need to be a replacement somewhere in flavour. But anyway, that's another video.
We do have some soya chunks.
I noticed.
And I would be quite interested to see how they cook them.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would probably... I wanted to look into whether soya becomes more tender or tougher
rubbery
the longer it's cooked. That's something that I've never had to investigate, and I think that might be worth doing some kind of test, because of course one is hoping that it becomes tenderized like meat becomes tenderized. I mean, you know, yes, we're vegetarian, but we had some gorgeous recipes at some,
fabulous recipes.
I mean, there's nothing like slow cooked beef when it falls apart, and you know,
brisket
we took
particularly.
Great pleasure in those things. You
and
know,
pot roast chicken.
Pot roast chicken is divine.
Yeah.
However, now we choose not to eat those products.
Yes.
It would be interesting to find out more about how soya reacts under pressure.
Yeah.
So that's another video. So anyway,
because of course that's how they make all the. We've got a big Noon factory, Indian food factory, down the road from us, and that's how they make all of the ready meals that you see in supermarkets. They're all under massive pressure cookers. That's how much is made of prepared food. Yeah, because I saw a video in one of those programs. How is it made? I saw them doing it, and it was pretty impressive. And it all went into a steel drum, and then I think the drum did spin, but it was under so much pressure.
Because yeah, and those ready meals are normally quite good.
Yeah.
In terms of tenderness, you know. Anyway, let's move forward, shall we? So, word of the week. cachinnate. Cachinnate. And it's spelled C-A-C-H-I-N-N-A-T-E. Cachinnate. That's how it's pronounced. It's not cachinnate, it's cachinnate.
Is that for when you're out and you're coming home and you're desperate to go to the loo?
No.
And each step you get closer to the front door, the
not.
more you want to go to the loo?
I'm saying no, because it's not, Paul. No.
Is it...
It's nothing to do with cacking your pants.
It sounds like it.
Oh.
Is it...
I can tell in advance I'm going to say no.
Is it when you're doing baking of cakes?
No.
And it doesn't come out right and it's
Stop now.
a brick?
Stop now. No.
And
No,
it's a cachinnate?
No. No.
I don't know. I've got no idea.
It's to laugh very, very loudly. There was absolutely no need for that, Paul.
Is it really?
Yeah. That was cachinating.
Where's that come from then?
I don't know. I'm not a...
Is it from cacophony?
I'm not a Google. A boogle, I was going to say then. I'm not a Google, am I? I don't know. Let's move on.
Let's have a look at the word.
C-A-C-H.
No.
Cacophony. No. Well,
maybe
I guess
it
so.
might be
C-A-C.
derivative. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a derivative.
Possibly. So.
I think that's really quite bizarre.
Really?
I think we need to do some more research on that one.
No, we don't.
I think I might do some more
You've
research.
got Google. Go and Google it.
Oh, do you know what I really, really hate? It's when people put things saying, do you know whether the hairdresser is open early on a Saturday or something? Just Google it.
Oh, I know.
Google it. Why?
You know why? You know why people are
attention seeking.
It's attention.
It's attention seeking. Yeah.
On Lost Pet Book, that I'm going to start calling it.
Oh well, it's things like yeah. Somebody said, does anyone know if this hairdresser opens early on a Saturday? And of course, they then got the response that they wanted, which was, oh, why are you having your hair done? Is it something special?
Yeah.
So they could talk about that.
Oh,
so.
Honestly.
But yeah, I mean, you know, by the time you've typed all of that into, if you don't know, then, you know, absolutely fine. But Google is a relatively well-known resource.
We're
now.
living in a unique time, we really are, where all the information we could possibly require in life is available at our fingertips. I mean, yes, granted, not all that information is correct.
No, some of it's not.
You know, you've got to be discerning in terms of which website you actually get your information from, and do a bit of double checking, you know.
Yeah, but particularly things that are
opening
business
times
based,
of stores.
You know, I mean, a business isn't going to say we open at 8 o'clock when actually they open at 9. Do you know what I mean?
You know what annoys me?
Well, I know a lot of things that annoy you.
I mean, I'm sorry, this sounds really cynical, but it really annoys me. I found this wedding ring. In Sainsbury's car park last week. It's got an engraving on it. I'm sure whoever lost it must be absolutely heartbroken.
Who's put that?
Oh, there's one every bloody week on Facebook.
Not on what I look at.
And you know what my first thought is? You know what my first thought is?
No.
They probably took it off and threw it at him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they don't want it back.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, hand it in to your local lost property place.
Police station.
Either in Sainsbury's.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh my.
At your local police station. Yeah, don't put it on Facebook, because that could be a trigger for somebody.
Oh, the other thing.
Do you know what I mean?
The other thing.
Think about it, people.
Someone posted the other day, does anyone know a dog sitter who might be available from the 11th to the 19th of April? Now, this is on a local group in our area. And basically, by asking if someone knows a dog sitter between
You're getting
those
somebody
dates,
else to do your bloody work for you.
Well, no. You're sort of telling people that you're most probably going to be away
Oh, yeah.
from those in that period of time.
But also, surely you can Google a dog sitter. That's the
you can
safest thing
Google
to
it.
do,
Yeah.
isn't it? Rather than putting the dates
no, but I can understand you might go on to a local group.
to get a reliable
Yeah,
dog
we
sitter,
have
but
we
don't
have
put the
something
dates.
called Hamwell and Ealing Friends at your group, which sometimes is a misnomer. However, you go on there, and I can understand you asking, does anyone know can anyone recommend a really good dog sitter? That I can understand, because you're looking for recommendations from other people. So,
I think we've covered it now.
But actually putting the dates that you're going to be away, I mean, you know.
We've covered it.
It's another lovely cloud.
Lovely cloud.
It's like a piggy, that one.
So back to work
Or
tomorrow
a
for
seal.
me. Back to work tomorrow after
yes.
having had a week off.
4 weeks holiday, yeah.
Well, it wasn't a holiday.
It
I don't
wasn't
think
a
you'll
holiday,
find.
no.
It was a week of taking things very, very slowly.
Well, it was. You didn't come with me to Guernsey.
And so back to work tomorrow.
Flyby. Thank you, Flyby. They've given us a voucher for your flight. That was good of them.
So they should.
Well, I know, but you know, it was yeah. It wasn't one of those changeable flights, but they've been very good. So thank you.
Thank you. Bloody thank you, Flyby. What's your week ahead like, Paul? I hope you're not going to fill it with too many things.
It is full.
I don't think it is.
Not too much.
Good. Keep it that way.
I'll be seeing Vanessa.
Keep it that way.
Week. And I think there's going to be seed sowing. My seed sowing for March, what we're sowing for March.
What you're sowing.
Came up this morning, was put up this morning, so that was there. In fact, there'll be 3 videos today from us.
You're bloody lucky.
So yeah, there'll be more seed sowing. I will be doing a plot tour, the monthly plot tour. There's most probably going to be part 5 of the new plot. I'm not quite sure what to call it now, because it's no longer new, but it sort of is new. So anyway, there'll be part 5 of that. I think it's about time to move the tall raised bed from our vacated plot, our previous plot, up, because the carrots have got to their sort of size. So I think we're going to harvest that and share those with the plot holders who've taken over and move that up.
That's
so we
not
can
turned
start
into wood.
No, they won't have done. They won't have done. Yeah, and I've been doing a few things, moving things from the old vacated plot that we said we were going to be taking. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing that, and there's a few blogs coming out from a Guernsey gardener in London, which, because of circumstances, you know, I haven't posted, but they will be posted this week. And I'm going to be trying the instant pot this week. I think I'm going to be trying a red bean, kidney bean chilli. You got a hair still?
I don't know whether it's a dry patch on my eye or whether it's a couple of
Have you been putting your cream in?
eyelashes. No, I think it's just an eyelash. I think there's been a couple of eyelashes. I've got them now. Thank you for your concern. So I think that's about it, really. And what I wanted to say is, in response to that, is take control of your time.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we just had to rearrange things and bring the light up because it was getting so dark in here. And there was a slight technical difficulty with this last segment. No, what I was saying was take control of your time. That's the thing. You know, say no to things. I mean, there was that stupid film a few years ago.
Say yes to everything.
Whatever it was. Say yes to everything.
A book. And he made it into a programme.
No. Who would say yes to everything? I wouldn't. I say no to everything and then decide to change my mind later.
You say no to everything and then don't change your mind later. I think in my 20s I said yes to.
Well, yeah,
everything.
you do, because you've got the energy when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
Really? But anyway, so I think we're at the end, aren't we, really?
Are we?
Yes.
What, already?
That's it.
No, there's lots to chat about.
No, that's it. We're well over time now, so we're going to finish off.
New moon.
Thank you.
Have you seen that?
Thank you.
About the new moon?
What about it?
Apparently there's a new moon going round Earth.
What?
I just read it before.
Where? On some strange website that you didn't verify?
I think it was very strange. It was most probably like the Daily Mail. Very odd website.
Well, I think that Earth has got a couple of other satellites, hasn't it?
Yeah, but they're saying it's a moon.
Well, they're called moons.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Oh.
I think the Earth does have... There's one, isn't there one called Kuithni?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, yeah. But they're quite small, you know.
I didn't express a size.
Yeah, well, exactly. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you, bloody thank you.
I'm tired.
And we're going now, so we'll see you in the week for more fun and frolics.
Will we?
We will. Thank you. Take care.
Are you doing your vlogs?
Take care. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.